still, I'm not sure if I am taping yet or not. So I will wait to see the signal before I jump on. And let's see. I think I'm on. I don't hear me, so I hope I'm not muted. Let's see. I'm texting one of my friends who should be watching me and will tell me if they could see me. I don't know if I'm live streaming or not yet. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody did just text me. Okay, so then I can do this. Okay, so am I freezing at this point? If not, I'm just going to jump right into it because I see one person is on. Okay, my name is Candia Hainsworth with Candia Hainsworth Designs, and I am your embroidery expert. And I am happy to be back because I have not been on live stream in quite some time. Eve Lowry from the Baby's Booty and I are doing a collaboration, and from what I understand, Eve was a little bit ill this evening. So from what I understand, she have cut her live stream short. And some of you have seen me trying to get my camera together because I have not been on in some time. I kind of totally forgot how this works. I was trying to practice a little bit, and I don't know, I was live and didn't even realize I was live. Okay, and so we wanted to talk about business matters, and those of you who have followed my mentoring program, those of you who have followed me in the group Embroidery Boss, and those of you who have followed my videos know that I am huge. I am very big on analyzing. However, I have a little code for you, B.A.D, bad. All right, so when we think of 2017, we don't think that it was bad, but what could we do? So let's talk about what the B.A.D stands for in regards to your embroidery business and how it will affect your embroidery business. So the B in the bad, B, will stand for balance. The A will stand for assessment, and the D will stand for delivery, okay? So B-A-D, okay? And let's talk about how all of those things are broken down, and this is also something that I use in my embroidery mentoring program. This is something that I will always, always, always recommend to all of you who are in the group Embroidery Boss when we are talking about things that go wrong or things that go right. All right, and so the B in regards to balance, you want to make sure that you have balance across the board, okay? So that means you. It starts with you. It starts with your health. Okay, so I always recommend every embroidery student who enroll in the embroidery mentoring program to at least schedule an appointment for a physical. If you are a woman, get a mammogram, your annual pap smear, go to the dentist, get your eyes checked, get everything checked, because nothing is going to work right or go right in your embroidery business if you are not well. And so from the start, it does start with balancing your health, making sure that you are okay. And then the next thing you have to balance is your family. All right. And now those of you already know, if you are jumping into the role of becoming an embroidery business owner from hobbyist, you already see that this is not a 3-hour thing. This is not a 4-hour thing. This is an all-day thing. This takes true commitment, okay? And I know that Eve had mentioned that, you know, there are going to be 12 to 14-hour days. She is definitely right when she has said that, because this is not something that you can just kind of do and that's it, especially if you want to make sure that you're staying on time with orders and so forth. And so for the most part, when you are spending those 12 and 14 hours in your embroidery studio, where's your family? Where's your friends? Are you attending events? Are you not attending events? So those kind of things have to be balanced. And once again, it falls under that balance with that B umbrella. Okay, and then the next thing is your embroidery business. And yes, your embroidery business is going to be third on the list. Yep, third on the list, because remember, you are first, your family is second, and then your embroidery business. And then you just want to kind of see what's your setup. How's your studio set up? Is it a nice flow around your studio? Do you have a shipping area? Do you have an embroidery area? Do you have a preparation area? Do you have a storage area? And it doesn't have to be this elaborate thing. All right, it doesn't have to be fancy. Those of you who follow my videos know that I am very big on functional, not fancy. Okay, so if you have to go to the thrift store and get things and paint them and make it all tie together, do whatever you need to do. But make sure that your embroidery room, your embroidery space, your embroidery studio, wherever it is that you do your embroidery and run your embroidery business, that it has a nice flow, it has a nice balance, because it's going to make your psyche, your state of mind better. It's going to get your creative wheels turning, and you're going to have a better process. Okay, and so the clutter thing, make sure you're not cluttered. Okay, because if your eyes see clutter, then you're taking in clutter, and you're going to have things all cluttered up inside of your mind. So make sure that your embroidery studio have a nice balance and it flows well all the way around. And then pleasure. Okay, now pleasure for you and pleasure for me can be two different things, but make sure that you're balancing that. Take time for yourself. Go get a pedicure, go eat ice cream, whatever it is that you like to do. If you like to vacation, make sure that you are creating balance amongst all those things in your life, because it will ultimately affect your embroidery business if you do not do that. So once again, we're talking about reflecting on 2017. And now is the time to reflect. How could you have maybe balanced your health better, balanced your family better, balanced your embroidery business better, and balanced even pleasure? Because it have to be a good balance, because if you have one that's too much taken away from the other, is going to throw the balance completely off. So when we're talking about pleasure, for example, you can't have more pleasure than you have time to run your business, and so forth. All right, so the next thing, that A in the word bad, okay? We talked about the balance, now we're talking about the A. The A is going to be assessment. All right, and once again, those of you who follow me in the group Embroidery Boss, those of you who follow me in the mentoring program, or just communicate with me on Instagram and so forth, you want to always assess what you are doing. So we're going to go back to the health. In the event that you go to the doctor and you find out that maybe something is going on with you, you have to assess how this is going to affect your embroidery business. You have to assess how and what you can do to make sure that you are managing whatever condition, God forbid you don't have, but whatever condition that may be developing, you have time to do that. Because again, nothing is going to work right if you do not take time to balance those things. So make sure that you're getting some good assessments from professionals that's going to help you be a better you. The next thing is your family. Only you can assess your family, right? And so if you have smaller children, are they acting out a little bit, or is everything flowing well? Do you have laundry overloading? Does something need to be painted? Whatever it is, make sure that you are assessing your practices, like not attending family events, missing family dinners, not attending soccer practice or soccer games. Whatever it is, you have to assess how running an embroidery business affects your family. And this is an area that you have to be really, really honest in. All right. And if you don't know where to start, ask your family. They will tell you, okay? And if you have smaller children, children are brutally honest, and so are teenagers, okay? Ask your spouse, ask your siblings, if you have adult siblings, your parents, your friends. But start somewhere with assessing what are you doing in your family life and how your embroidery business is affecting. And you know what? I got to tell you that even I have been a victim of my embroidery business pretty much affecting my relationships, or relationships affecting my embroidery business. And so you have to be really honest about what you are doing. And if you need to make some changes, then do what you need to do. But just know. Don't act like you don't know. Don't act like it doesn't exist. Assess it and then make a plan, put it into play, and then move on. The next thing is your business. All right. And so you want to really assess your business. Okay. And when I talk about, assessing your business, I'm talking about systems. Okay. We always talk about systems in the group Embroidery Boss. I like a system. It makes things go smoothly, but sometimes systems don't always work. Okay. I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to once again share a personal story with you. Something that I'm still recovering from, but you have to be honest in what's going on with your embroidery business and if it's working. And the only way that you're going to do that is if you assess it. Assess it. All right. And then the last thing is the pleasure. All right. Are you spending too much money on things that pleasure you? For example, I spend a lot of money on my nails and my eyelashes and my hair and, but what is too much? If it's not too much for your budget, it might be too much for my budget. And if it's not too much for my budget, it might be too much for yours. The bottom line is we always have to assess what we are doing so we can have balance across the board. And if you don't do that, then either you are acting like you have a blind eye, you're not in the know, and you're really not knowing what's going on. The last letter in the word bad is going to be D. All right. Now, D is going to be for developing and delivery. Okay. You want to make sure that your embroidery business is in constant developing mode. Okay. You have innovative things happening. It's not always just the same thing. And the reason being is because, to be quite frank, you are not the only one who have an embroidery machine. I got to tell you, every year as this industry grows, more and more people are getting into home embroidery and transitioning over to embroidery business. And so you have to make sure that you are in constant creative mode to present these things to your customers. Otherwise, it is not hard these days to find someone to embroider something on a shirt or a tote or a pillowcase and so forth. So you want to make sure that you're always adding something to your embroidery business, or maybe developing other things in your embroidery business that will keep your customers loyal and entice new customers. Okay. And so I want to go back to what I said before. I know we were talking about this system of the B.A.D, which is bad, and it's not really bad, but I just kind of shortened it. And we talked about balance, assessment, and delivery. All right, I want to go back to how all of this really ties into your embroidery business. And before I do that, I'm just going to scroll down and just say hi to some of you. And I see that we have Mary Brooks. Hi, Mary. How are you? And we have Anissa. I remember you, Anissa. Thank you. I'm so glad that you have joined in. And we have Kizziness. I am back and I am beautiful. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And then we have BBIBKACQ. I see you and I hear you. Thank you all for joining in. And those of you who are also watching, I appreciate that as well. And let's go back into what I was talking about in regards to the business part of it and how all of this really affects your business. All right, so I can tell you that 2017 for me was a big year for me. I did extremely well in 2017, and as a matter of fact, since 2009, 2017 was my best year. At first, I thought 2016 was my best year, but no, I did really well in 2017, and I gotta tell you that you all know me. I am very big on practices. I am very big on systems and routines, and because I have those things in place, for the most part, 99% of the time, things run smoothly because I've had so many issues in the past. I've made so many mistakes in the past that, you get to the point where you kind of eliminate, oh, that's going to be a problem, so we're not doing that. And I had pretty much mastered that. Well, somewhere's around November, things kind of shift a little bit. So let me take you back to what happened. All right, I tried to beat the Christmas rush, and I announced a Christmas deal that I was giving around October of 2017. I was doing pot holders, okay, pot holder sets for $10, and that is like $8.50 off my regular price of $10. I actually have an order still. I'll show you that needs to be ordered, and so they look like this. All right, I don't know if you can see. This is an order, but they look like this. And I don't know if you can see through here, but anyhow, these are normally sold for $18.50, and I did a sale on Instagram, on Facebook. I didn't do it on YouTube, but for the most part on Instagram, Facebook, and my personal Facebook page, I was doing it for $10, right? And I thought that it's the Christmas. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Hold on one second. I can't ignore her because this is my daughter-in-law. And this is my Packy princess. Hi, Farrah. It's my son, my handsome son. But, sweetie, I am on live stream right now. So, yeah, and they see me talking to you, so I got to hang up. Sure. Yes, your father's home. He's upstairs. All right, bye. Sorry, guys, but those, you know, some people that call you and your family, you have to answer the call no matter what. Those are the two. Because my daughter-in-law is 6 months pregnant. Yes, I'm going to be a grandma. And so I am super excited. Okay. You know, I get sidetracked. Sorry, guys. Okay, so anyhow, I was selling these on sale for $10, right? And so the regular price is $18.50. And yes, it went well. It went extremely well because that's nearly 50% off, right? And so I got so many orders and I was super happy. I was super productive. And you know what? Even though it does take time and work, guess what? It's not a big deal to make these little pot holders. Those of you who have joined in on this know it doesn't take time. I have 3 embroidery machines, and so everything was going well. Okay, and then something happened around November. What happened in November? An overload. An overload of orders started to come in, but I wasn't worried because it's still generating income. Once again, it wasn't affecting my other orders because I do have 3 embroidery machines, 2 of them being multiple commercial embroidery machines, and so things was running smoothly. However, people are people. And even though I had announced that this sale was going to end at the end of November, guess what happened? I did not respect my own system. Yeah, me. I didn't respect my own system. I continued to take orders. Orders continued to come in. And so I went from having an overload to be completely overwhelmed. And that is not good on any level. Completely. When I tell you overwhelmed with these pot holder orders, completely overwhelmed with these pot holder orders. And you know, I got to tell you that it seemed so simple when I was taking these orders, but it wasn't. It started to affect everything across the board. Everything across the board. So once again, when I tell you about assessment, I already knew by the end of December that yeah, this year was going to be completely different because I started to assess it because it became fun. And then it became a nightmare from making money to, okay, you know what? I can't take the order. And so that is one of the things that I will tell you that assessment is very key and not key to running your embroidery business, that is. The next thing I want to talk about is also when you are assessing, taking orders and stuff, you want to focus on delivery as well. Here's the mistake that I made in one of my Christmas rush orders this particular Christmas, past Christmas 2017. Okay, so I had an order from a customer who called me 3 weeks before the order was supposed to be due. Okay, and then she was actually placed the order with my company, but she wanted it to be sent to the person who was to receive the baby ensemble. So this wasn't a pot holder order. Okay, so what I tried to do was have an outside source, which I have used them from time to time, not like on a continuous basis, but I have used them. And if I had to think about how many times I used them last year in 2017, I would say at least a half dozen times. So about 6 times minimum that I've used this particular company. This particular company is almost like a messenger service. If you can't get, let's say, to the UPS store, they'll come and pick your order up and take it to the UPS store. And this is a home-based business, so you know that I'm very big on supporting home-based businesses. And so here's what happened. They came and picked up the order. Okay, let me just go back. Okay, the baby ensemble was supposed to be delivered on December 23rd. Okay, so the person would have it for Christmas. Okay, so they came and picked up the order and they were supposed to overnight it, and they came and picked it up 2 days before the order was due so they can overnight it and then get back to me that the order was delivered. Okay, Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve is December 24th. I get a call from the customer pretty much inquiring where was the order. Now, because I was so busy doing pot holders, I did not check to see what was going on, okay? And so, as a matter of fact, when the customer called me Christmas Eve, I was still doing pot holders because remember, I was overwhelmed by this time. All right, so I realized that her order had not been delivered, and for the most part, I had to find out why. I found out for the most part that they just wasn't able to get it out. So I thought, no worries. I was just going. She was very good about it, by the way. I mean, phenomenally understanding, accepting, and just very patient because she didn't have to do that. Those of you know some customers, they will cancel, write a bad review about you. They want their money back. They don't want to hear nothing. They don't care what happened. This was not the case at all. She was very patient, very accepting, and just nice about it. Okay, so as a courtesy, I offered her an upgrade to I added in a bib and a burpee, and I also picked up the cost of shipping because, you know, Christmas, getting a Christmas gift on time is extremely important. I mean, anytime you have a gift being delivered to someone else, it's important, but, you know, Christmas and birthdays, you know, those kind of things are very time sensitive. Anyhow, I promised to her that, okay, Christmas was on a Monday this year. I will just call the company. I'll go pick up the order. I would have had to repack it or pack the burp cloth and a bib separately, but no worries. I'll just, you know, throw that in for you and I'll send you a tracking number. Okay, well, tell me why December 26th came. I sent the company an email. I called them, I had one of the owner's personal cell phone number. Nothing. Nobody responded. Okay, the 27th, nothing. The 28th, nothing. And I'm thinking, this is crazy. This is not even like them. I've never had this problem with them. I only ever had one problem with them. You know, I was a little bit annoyed on the communication, but for the most part, it wasn't this extreme where I felt like they were flat out ignoring me and I didn't know what was going on, which means that I couldn't tell the customer what was going on because I didn't know. All right, and so days went by. Nothing. Well, I learned now that it's a week later that guess what? They were closed the last week of December and the first week of January. So that's 2 weeks. 2 weeks that they would have had my baby ensemble, my customer's order, in their care or wherever it was at this point. I don't know if it was on a truck, if it was in their storage place. I don't know where my order was, and no one was communicating with me, which made it extremely hard for me to communicate with my customer. All right, and I didn't have anything to tell the customer. Well, I learned that, okay, they were on vacation for 2 weeks, and I was so mad. I was so mad at first until I thought about, well, wait a second, Candia, what is the agreement that you have with this company? And the agreement that I have in regards to delivery time simply states that, you know, it covers terroristic attacks, it covers bad weather, you know, things that they cannot control like natural disasters. But my contract with these people absolutely says nothing about them having to inform me about going on vacation or closing their business. So even though as a courtesy, you know, to be considerate, they could have just called me or sent me a text or say, Candia, by the way, we didn't send out your order and we're going to be gone for 2 weeks. They could have done that. That would have been the nice thing to do. That would have been the professional thing to do. But that was not the agreement. So when we go back to assessing your business, I can tell you that my new contract, okay, my new contract, whether I use them again or another messaging service again, will definitely cover that they will absolutely be required to tell me when their business is going to be closed. Period. I don't care if it's for a holiday. God forbid somebody dies, somebody gets sick. I need to know that your business is closed. Period. And that's going to be the agreement. So you see how you have to constantly be in assessment mode. Yeah, you can be mad. You can be pissed off. You can be all of that. But the bottom line is, what could I have done to make sure that this didn't happen? Okay, last year, what I could have done was really look at my contract with them, the agreement with them, and made sure that this clause was inside of there. And I just didn't do that. So even though they could have handled things better, I could have made sure that certain things were covered. So that is one of the reasons why assessment is a must, a must, a must. And then when you assess, you plan to do better. So this year, this year I have a lot of things on the table, a lot of projects that I'm going to be involved in, but I'm still going to be in constant assessment mode. So I'm going to scroll down to see if anyone else have joined and see what you all think. And let's see, I see Glam 2011 is here. Hello. I see Utah GMAW99 said, did you make a second set? Well, I didn't make a second set because I did contact, communicate with the customer, but for the most part, she is very, very, very just patient. I mean, my goodness, I actually gonna send her actually a free gift just to her just because of that. But no, I didn't make a second set. Janet McKinney is here. Happy New Year to everyone. Yeah, I didn't even say Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everyone. Teresa Spencer is here. Hi, Teresa. And yeah, I didn't even say Happy New Year. And so that's one of the things that I'm going to constantly be in assessment mode is in regards to delivery, because one of the things that I want to do is, again, going back to assessment, is outsource a lot of things. And I don't mean embroidery. I mean things that take up my time in my studio, like sewing on tags. All right, now you might think that that is just such a small, tedious thing. Candia, why would you ever complain about sewing on tags? Well, I'll tell you why. Because it takes up time. And so I've sold well over 100 sets of these pot holders, right? These pot holders also have my tags on it. So think about what I'm saying to you. If I have people ordering 30, 25, 10 at a time, that means it's 10 times 2, 30 times 2, because you have 2 pot holders in a set. And so if I'm sewing my tags on it, if I have literally 100, 150, 200 pot holders to sew tags on, that takes time when I can be doing something else, right? And so, and tags are this small. And so I am going to have someone do that for me, okay? The messaging service, I still will use a messenger service. I'm not sure about them, but I still will use a messenger service because, you know what, running to, let's say, the UPS store, or running to, there's little stores out here, well, little businesses, not stores, where they will send your item, DHL, FedEx, UPS, other places that you can get, like DHL. We don't have a DHL store here, so I would have to take it there if a customer requested it to be sent DHL and send it over there. That is going to help me because these people come to my studio, they pick up the order, and then they take it. All right. And that means that I don't have to be on the road doing that. Making the local deliveries. I'm going to hire someone to make local deliveries for me. What I have been doing the last 3 months of 2017 is I've been using my family members as liaisons. Okay. Like, for example, my daughter-in-law, she is an RN, and she has served as the liaison between her staff at the hospital, conducting orders and communicating with people, and by the time the order gets back to me, all I have to do is embroider. And so I really like that. My son has also acted as a liaison. He is a new student in school at the university. He is a part of some clubs, and one particular club, he has communicated with, the president in getting orders and so forth. And so that has been a big help. Number one, again, it frees up time. And so when I don't have to spend time, let's say on a telephone, I don't have to spend time writing emails, because someone else is handling that soft part of the transaction, it frees up time. Again, that's why assessment is so important, because when I looked at what I was spending time on when I'm not embroidering, someone else can be doing that. You don't necessarily need to know how to embroider to conduct a sale or a transaction or connect me, my company, to someone. And so that's one of the things that I really plan to take advantage of. Assessment in regards to my health. I'm good, okay? And so since September of 2017, I lost about 20 pounds. I'm down 2 sizes. I still have ways to go because I am still chubby, as you can see it. Okay, and so I went from a size 16 down to a size 12. This is a size 12, and I am trying to get down to a size 10. I feel comfortable as a size 10. I look good as a size 10. And that's just where I want to be at. And so, making sure that I am good, that I am on point. I try to eat better. My friend will tell you that I have incorporated water into my diet. Probably not enough water, but I have traded out iced tea and juices for water. I don't drink soda for the most part, but I am really trying on that. And so that's what I would like to add pretty much for, you know, to my diet is more water this year. If I had to assess what I'm doing, it's going to be that. All right, and so I'm going to scroll down to see if anybody else have joined in. Let's see. I see Isora. Hello, Isora. I see Brenda R. I see Nicole. Nicole says, thanks for sharing your stories. I learned so much from you and your experiences. I am watching from the west coast of Canada. Well, that is nice. I am so glad that you have joined in. And that is the beautiful thing about YouTube and the internet, is that we can kind of talk, you know, we can kind of talk to anyone in the world that we want. All right. And then Brenda says, congratulations on a weight loss. Well, I thank you, but I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I got ways to go because I still like cookies. All right. And so I don't eat a lot of cookies though, but I still like them. And then when we talk about assessing your family and relationships and so forth, well, I can tell you I lost contact with a very dear and special friend back in 2016, and I have reconnected with them in 2017. And I gotta tell you that it's just been phenomenal. It's so nice, you know, just to reconnect with family members and friends, and even a cousin of mine. I hadn't seen one of my cousins in a very long time, and we have reconnected, and hopefully this year we can actually get together because I haven't seen them really in really such a long time. And I also plan to do some private labeling. I have been approached by a few companies to do some private labeling, so that's probably gonna take some time to get you know, developed and so forth. I'm not really sure how the legalities in a time, but I don't see this happening tomorrow, so I don't know. My mentoring program, a lot of people have asked me about my mentoring program. Well, I gotta tell you, I had planned to debut my new online mentoring program back in November, but once again, by the time November came in, I was in overload mode of these orders for the pot holders, which is something, again, led me to assess exactly that. I find, and this is just my personal opinion, if you are going to introduce something new or do something new in your embroidery business, November, December is not the time to do that. First of all, you can't predict how many people are going to be ordering from you, your existing customers or new customers. And so that is not the time that you want to talk about, guess what I'm doing? Not the time to do it. At least I find it's not the time to do it. Otherwise, you will do it half, because you cannot possibly dedicate all of your time to showing and promoting something new in a business at that time. January, February, when you have finished that Christmas rush, that holiday rush, that's the time to do it. And so, yes, I will be debuting my online mentoring program. And just to give you a little bit heads up about it, it's going to be ran completely different because I am collaborating with some of the best experts in the industry, as far as I am concerned, to help me be better so I can help you all be better who want to join this program. This program will be available 24 hours a day. You will be able to select the classes that you want to do. So, for example, if I had a class, let's say how to make a pillow. I was going to grab a pillow, but it's not necessary. Then you can just click on that, you know, and so I thought that this would be really good for budgeting. It would be really good for exactly what you need. And you pretty much can configure your own mentoring program based on your needs. You know your needs better than anyone else. And the fact that it is available, going to be available 24 hours a day online as a webinar teachable series, I am really excited about that. And so I'd like to know what some of you think about that. I'm going to go down again and just see who else is here, or if anyone else have anything to say. So Joni Thurman says, will I be doing any more pot holders in 2018? Girl, I have gotten orders today for pot holders, literally 3 sets of pot holders I have to order, because now people are starting to think about things that are coming up, like birthdays, like Mother's Day, and so like thank you gifts. And so it really is a good thing to add to your business. It really is a good thing. I don't know if I need to do classes on pot holders. I mean, if you think that I should, I could. But I do have a video, Joni, just to answer your question. I do have a video on, you know, just the overall presentation of the pot holder if you want to see that. All right. And so it's one of the easiest things that you can do in your embroidery business. The pot holders, in my opinion, because there's no hooping involved, right? And so I'd like to know what you all think in regards to balance, assessment, and delivery. What are you going to do with your embroidery business this year, 2018, to balance everything across the board? Assessment to either add routines or tweak your systems. What are you planning on doing? All right. I would also like to start also promoting other business owners, because I find that when you promote them, they promote you, you get more customers and so forth. So you will see me a lot talking about, and I'm not talking about big businesses. I'm talking about people just like us, mom and pop businesses who are just trying to start up, or they may have been started up already and just nobody knows about them. You know, for example, you see this turquoise sewing machine. Let me get up and get it. I don't know if you can see it. So many people have asked me about this turquoise sewing machine. Okay, and a friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine, did this for me back in 2015. All right, and I gotta tell you, we lost touch. We lost touch because, you know, people they move, they go to different jobs and everything. We lost touch in 2015, but that didn't stop people from asking me. I get so many messages on my Facebook about this sewing machine. And I gotta tell you that I actually tried to do one because I have sewing machines in my studio. It was horrible. It looked like a 5-year-old did it. Now, I got to tell you that I have patience, but I don't have the patience to go into all these little crevices. So, like, for example, instead of me just trying to find a YouTube video on it, I could just recommend the people who want to do something like this, to revamp a sewing machine. I could recommend it to my friend, you know, and you see how it all goes. And now that person is going to be more, you know, inclined to recommend me to someone if someone has a baby and so forth. So I really want to push everybody to the next level. That's basically what I'm saying, okay? I had a good time in regards to taking my business to the next level last year. And I was also saying that a lot in some of my videos, that I wanted to take my business to the next level, and I have been able to do that, but I am not done yet. And so one of the things that I will make sure that I do this year is have more balance. I will continuously be in assessment mode and just watch how I am presenting and delivering orders and items and so forth. And so, you know, I got to tell you that I do have another part to this series, but I want to talk to Eve. I know that once again she was feeling under the weather tonight, so I am actually going to wait a couple of days to give her a call, because I know that we wanted to talk specifically about topics. I will be covering the do's and the don'ts, okay? What I did right in 2017 for my embroidery business and what I did wrong. And I will be going into detailed stories about what happened, where I went wrong, what I should have done, and what I'm doing about it now. Okay, so some of the stories that I'm going to be sharing with you in some of my videos, they didn't turn out well, but it is what it is, and it was what it was, and I'm going to share that with you. So maybe if you run into that situation, you will know how to handle it, or maybe you will handle it better. Whatever it is, I'm going to be giving you more of those scenarios. A lot of you have also asked me about the telephone consultations, that videos that I was doing. I will be doing some more of those. I will also be doing one-on-one mentoring, but just on a smaller scale. I won't have such a broad scale like I did last year. And so I'm excited. I'm excited about 2018. I'm excited about 2018, and you know, I hope you are too. All right, and so Anissa Sane says, this year I plan on doing more giveaways this year. I am excited about growing my business. You know what? That is excellent. That is actually something that I actually incorporated, but I'm more incorporated it for my YouTube channel. I'm going to be doing a lot of more giveaways on my YouTube channel because it's nice that people take the time to sit here and watch you. And so I want to just kind of give some, you know, give back to that. Hi, Debbie. I see that you have logged in, and Sabrina. Thank you for joining in. And if any of you have any questions, I'll give you a couple of minutes just to ask any questions that you may have. But I think that I have pretty much covered what I wanted to cover for this portion of, business topics and so forth. Once again, I will be going into it a little bit more, but I will be doing those in video format. Some live streams, but more so in video formats. We're talking about balance, assessment, and delivery. All right, balancing your health, your family, your business, and pleasure, as well as assessing those areas as well. So if any of you have any questions in regards to that, let me know. Otherwise, I can get out of here. Okay, let's see. All right, I'm going down to see any of your questions. Teresa Spencer asks, do you get inventory as you go or in the beginning of what? Okay, so Teresa, I can tell you that is a very good question, and I will tell you exactly what I do. First of all, I try not to ever buy at regular price, okay? Now, I am not a person that is committed to any kind of wholesaler, right? Because a lot of times the wholesale prices are not that wholesale to me. So I look for closeouts. I look for clearance items. Some of you have seen the videos that I have made in regards to my hauls, in regards to my teddy bears. I will buy them when they are 75% off, 90% off, 50% off too, depending on the size of the teddy bear. But the more the discount, the more likely I am to buy it, okay? I don't just order things because it's a trend. No, I need to see that this is a good deal, and I have to figure out how am I going to push it. Right? And I try to get things that are really not so trendy. Last year, you saw me get the bears from Walmart, Walgreens. I even went to CVS at one point. I was unsuccessful at CVS, but for the most part, I really got a lot of bears from Walmart and Walgreens. I still have bears. So this year, that's not going to be on my list because I still have bears. When Easter came, I got the crinkle cut paper, literally 7 cents, 5 cents at Walmart when Easter was over. I don't need crinkle paper unless there's another color that I need, like white. I will always need white because I also dye the crinkle cut paper to match my baby ensembles. But for the most part, inventory is building up in my studio simply if I come across a store that is closing. They have inventory closeouts, that kind of thing. I try not to ever just buy from a regular company because what I try to create in my embroidery business is uniqueness. I want to present to my customers things that you all can't. All right, so to be quite frank, okay, so I try to buy things that no one else will have access to. And so when you buy from a company that is going out of business or is something that's discontinued, that's the time to get it, because if you buy it, then chances are I can't. All right, so that is how I build my inventory. There is no set time frame or, for building inventory unless a holiday has come and it's going to go away. Then I'll wait until after the holiday. So that is how I build my inventory. Also, I have some other videos coming up. Some of you have asked me about updates on my heat press, my vinyl plotter, and my sublimation printer. I have heard you. I am going to do 3 videos individually on those things because I know a lot of you had wanted to add the heat presses to your embroidery business, and I will give you my pros and my cons on what I think about it. All right, so Joni Thurman asks, do you use an appointment scheduler? Not anymore. I used to, and the reason why is because a customer who doesn't know about an appointment schedule, first of all, they just happy to get me on the phone when they get me on the phone, right? Because a lot of the times the phone goes to voicemail or they text or we communicate by text. So the scheduling goes right out the system, right out the window, not out the system. The only time I do use a scheduler is when I am mentoring, okay? A lot of the times the telephone consultations, for example, have to be set up. I have to make sure that I have time to talk to my students. So this is not a situation where the student just called me randomly or I just call them randomly. But it is not like this elaborate system that online, and no, it's just a simple calendar, or I put it in my telephone, my cell phone, and just say, okay, let's say, for example, if it was you, I will have a telephone consultation with Joni next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Then I also set up reminders so I don't forget. So that is how I schedule it. I do use a scheduling system for consultations. People just don't show up at my house either. But once again, it's not an elaborate thing. It's a scheduling book, and it's a calendar scheduling book. So it's not like really this elaborate thing. Teresa asks, do I try to set a budget? I almost always set a budget because I am on limited funds. And so, and my budgets are not big. You will see in some of my videos where I have done hauls, my budgets are $100. They can be $250. Very rarely is it $500 unless it is something that is just absolutely, I have to get that kind of thing. And so, yes, I almost always set a budget, and it's usually a small budget, but I do leave room. I do leave room for excess. For example, in the Target haul, I went to Target. My budget was $100. I ended up spending, I think it was $127. So what I did was I used $100 from my business to buy the inventory, and I loaned Candy and Hainsworth Designs $27 that Candy and Hainsworth Designs had to pay back Candy and Hainsworth. So that means that I used my personal debit card, not my PayPal card, because that's a business debit card, not my account card that is for my business. I loaned Candy at $27 to get the rest of the inventory. All right, and so let's see, what else questions do you have? All right, and so Utah G Ma 99 asks, do I use a planner? I do have a planner, but it's not like an let me get my planner. I'll show you what my planner looks like. And so my planner, I know, I'm sorry I got up. I never get up. I want to show. My planner is just a book, right? So this is, you know, a book. It's not an elaborate thing. I like it to be this big so I can write notes. All right. And so, yes, I do use a planner. And that is always on my desk. Always on my desk. It needs to be on my desk. So when I'm making telephone calls to customers or whatever, I have my planner just in case. I do use a planner. All right. And then Joni asks, will you do a video on making a fleece blanket? The one you made for your son's dorm room. I can. That's not hard at all. I did use a serger only because I wanted to give it a more masculine feel, but I can make a video on that. That's not hard at all, actually. Monica Lopez, how are you? Monica asks, are you going to have a video on the bow you make on the bunny? The bow I made. Oh, I think that was the video I did with the pacifier. You know, someone else asked me that. Yes, I think Nina Proctor, I believe she sent me a note, and she had wanted to know how I made the bow. So yes, I will be doing that. Actually, I can actually write that down, because bow on the bunny tutorial. Because if I don't, then I will forget. So excuse me for writing it down now, and I will do that. Okay. Janet McKinney says baby blankets and bibs. So Janet, my videos will show you that I actually use the In the Hoop program or the In the Hoop embroidery design from digistitches.com. And so I do add ruffle to my bibs, which I do have a video on. I also have a video on how to make the ruffle trim. Maybe I will put it down here below. But for the most part, I do use the In the Hoop embroidery design from digistitches.com, and there are loads of In the Hoop bibs on Etsy as well. So some of them have the closure where it closes in the front and you can snap it here. Some of them have the closure in the back. So yeah, I don't necessarily make them, but I use the embroidery design that's in the hoop. And I can make a baby blanket. And so Debbie Kid says, how did you take the date off the bear's feet? Oh, and so I covered it. You're talking about the embroidery bears, right? I covered it. Oh no, I don't have a bear next to me. I have an embroidery room now. But I wanted to show so everyone knows what you were talking about. I cover it. I cover it with the same like fabric, simply put, and sew it. I can do a tutorial on that if it's a little bit, you know, confusing of what I'm saying actually. I can do, let me write that down too. So cover date on bear's feet. Bear's feet. Tutorial. So you'll see, because I have a lot of bears actually with the 2017 on it. So yes, I can do that. I can do that. just so you kind of get an idea of what I am talking about. Okay. And so, I thank you all. Oh my goodness. I want to thank you all for being so loyal, being so patient, coming tonight. Eve was nice enough. I tell you what, I just love her. Eve was nice enough to make like a preview video, right? And so she made a preview video just pretty much saying that she was going to be on tonight and that I would be collaborating with her. And wasn't that like the nicest thing ever? She didn't have to do that. I should have did that. I didn't even think about it. I just thought, okay, I'm just going to come on. And so I thank Eve for doing that. But I really want to thank you all for taking the time to join in. And as you saw before, you know what? I tell you what. I totally forgot how to set this thing up. Totally forgot. Excuse me. I totally forgot how to set this thing up. Apparently, I had it on. I was fixing my shirt. I hope I didn't fix my boobs or anything like that. But yeah. And then, one of my viewers, who is also a dear friend of mine, very special friend of mine, called me and said, "We can see you. We can see you. We can hear you." That kind of thing. I'm thinking, what? My son was supposed to be watching upstairs. I thought I was in practice mode, but apparently I was live. So it is what it is. It is what it is. And so, yeah, I look stupid, but oh well. anyhow, let's see if there was anything else. All right. And so Anissa asks, can you recommend an applique company and who's the best? Oh, now, Anissa, you know that I do embroidery report cards, right? And so everyone is not the best. I will tell you that. However, there are some really good ones out there. In other words, I have companies that when I order from them, I am expecting nothing but excellence. Those companies off the top of my head for appliques will be Planet Applique for starters. Planet Applique, in my opinion, have some of the most affordable and best appliques out there on the market. There are others as well, but I got to tell you that I don't worry when I buy from Planet Applique. Baby Embroidery Shop on Etsy. That's another one. Baby Embroidery Shop on Etsy is another company that I don't worry about. Actually, if I could look into my, let me see. Let me look into my computer real quickly, and I will tell you just who are my go-to people. So once again, I like Planet Applique. I also like let's see, Baby Embroidery Shop. I talked about them. I like, oh, I know who I like. I like Embroidery Boutique as well. I like them as well. Now, fonts. If those of you who have watched my videos know that I absolutely will tell you, number one, first on the list, best, in my opinion, Stitchtopia. Stitchtopia. Leanne is absolutely amazing. Amazing at what she does. She makes me look like a superstar to my customers because the embroidery is bold, it's crisp, it's so satiny. Absolutely amazing. I absolutely love Stitchtopia fonts. Also, Stitchtopia also makes appliques. However, in all fairness and honesty, I've only bought their frames. I only bought her frames. And so I bought applique frames, and some of them have bean stitches around. But her fonts, hands down, she is the best in my opinion on the market. I don't worry when I download her fonts. I don't have to fix anything. I don't have to do anything to it unless I'm trying to get a different look. For the most part, I have been very pleased with Leanne over at Stitchtopia.com. I do have a referral code for her. I will give you her referral code, but in my opinion, she is the best out here thus far. Okay, and so let's say, aw, Utah says I'm so cute. Well, thank you. Thank you. All right, and so, excuse me. That's my opinion on those appliques. All right, and so let's see. Oh, I know what else I wanted to I should have it here. I don't have it here. Okay, so I have been wearing these ruler bracelets. I'm going to let you guys go. We got a couple of minutes left. I'm only up here for an hour. Then I am actually going to be doing something else in my embroidery studio. I was wearing a bracelet that was a ruler bracelet. And I usually wear it, but I actually went out today, so I didn't have it on today. Anyhow, I'm going to be selling those too. I am working with someone who is amazing and talented, and they are going to be putting something together, and I will be offering those to you as well, because I have had a lot of people ask me about those ruler measurement bracelets. And so I am happy to be talking about that. All right, so Joni asked, what size font do I use on the pot holders? Well, if I can grab the pot holders, Joni, let me see here. If I can show, okay. Yes, I can show you this. Okay. And so, Joni, it depends on the length of the name. And so, if you see this, you see how this says Grandma Una's? Okay, so Una is going to be the name, obviously. Grandma is going to be the title. If you notice, that's two separate fonts. However, if you look here on Keisha's Kitchen, this font is much smaller than Una's font. Okay, and that's because this name is much shorter than Keisha. And so to answer your question, the font size really depends on the length of the name. So it could be smaller. You know, it could be if it's a smaller, if it's a, it will be smaller if it's a longer name, and it will be larger if it's a shorter name. And that's how the size is determined, pretty much. Most of my customers like bold. A lot of people don't like the bold lettering. My customers like the bold lettering. I've built my company on bold lettering, big meaning. So, for example, I remember last year I did an order for a baby blanket, and apparently they had ordered a baby blanket from another local embroiderer, but they weren't pleased with her at all. So when I saw the blanket, you would think that the way they talked about this blanket, you would thought that it was just horrible. And it wasn't horrible. It was just the font was small. The embroidery was fine. It was just the font was small. So when I did nearly the same blanket over with big, bold, beautiful fonts, they loved it. And the only difference really was the size of the embroidery. And so, once again, you know, it depends on you, your preference. A lot of people don't like the big, bold embroidery. They like the small embroidery, whereas my customers like the big, bold embroidery, and I've kind of based my company around that. Anissa says, I love Stitchtopia and plan to applique too. And she also have used my code as well. Well, thank you, Anissa. I really appreciate that, because it lets them know, especially over at Stitchtopia, that they saw something that I made or I recommended their company. And we all like to know, you know, where things come from. So I really appreciate that. And then Janet says, I keep buying fabric like that. What kind of fabric? I'm not sure what kind of fabric you're talking about, Janet. So let me know what kind of fabric and we can talk about it. Okay, and so let's see if anyone else have any questions. We have about 4 minutes more before I log off. So if any of you have any questions, let me know. Or tell me what you think about what we talked about tonight, the balance, assessment, and delivery. Tell me how you balance things. You know, I'm not talking about things that, you know, like a death. When my father died, you all know that I was just so distraught. I wasn't doing anything. I'm talking about just regular things in life. How do you balance it? Everybody, you know, how do you balance it? Tell me, how do you do? What do you do? How do you put your systems in place? And how do you balance your health and your family life and your embroidery business and pleasures? Because a lot of times people don't even incorporate pleasures, but that is very important. So tell me how you do it. Let me know how you do it so we can talk about it. All right, and so I think that's going to be it for tonight. I have about 3 minutes left before I log off. Utah Gmon 99 says, thanks, Sugar. Got to go. Having a birthday for hubby. Okay, well, thank you for joining in, Utah G Ma, especially on your husband's birthday. So I appreciate your time. Joni says I try to balance by being organized. Well, I gotta tell you, if you're not organized, then you're not balanced. Regardless to what you think, you're not balanced. If your embroidery studio is a wreck, I am telling you, it is going to be extremely, extremely difficult to balance anything else because you have everything all over the place and everything happening at once, so there is no balance. You know, I hear a lot of people will say, oh, well, I work best in the clutter. Well, I got to tell you, you know, customers may not like you working on their stuff when you got everything all over the place. And I hear a lot of people say, well, if an embroidery studio is clean, then that means it's not being worked in. No, that's not true. Just clean up after you finish a project and move on to the next order. That's it. And then I will say it again and again and again. Would you eat at a dirty restaurant? No, you would not accept that the restaurant is dirty because they're so busy. They have so many customers that they don't have time to wipe off the table. It's unacceptable. Get up and clean up and move on to the next order, period. And I know that's easier said than done sometimes, but what's acceptable for you may not be acceptable for someone else. And just think about how you would feel when you are not in your embroidery studio and you are obtaining services from other businesses. Catherine Hill says, really great information. Thank you. And agree that Eve is the best. Yes, I absolutely love Eve. Love, 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 love Eve. So, yeah, I love Eve. So, yeah, we all love Eve. Yep. And so, if no one else has anything to say, I am out of here. It is, you know, an hour in. I don't like my live streams to go past an hour because, you know, spending an hour with me online is a lot. But once again, I want to say that this is the very tip of a collaboration that Eve and I will be doing together. We will be tackling business matters. I like Eve because she does the hands-on tutorials for the 4x4 embroidery machines for the Sew What Pro program. I like that. And she is right when she had said that I address business matters. You will be seeing some more detailed and hearing detailed telephone consultations. I can't really use the real telephone consultation because sometimes customers may say something that is, you know, sensitive in regards to information, but I can reenact it out. And I try to do it word for word because all the telephone calls in my studio are recorded. So I literally can write it down or transcript it out and act it out. And so that's what I've been trying to do. So you will be seeing some more of that. You will be hearing more about my embroidery mentoring program. You will be seeing some more items that I will be selling on places like Amazon.com. I will also be selling them on Facebook and on Instagram and on my website. So I have a lot of things happening for me in 2018 as well. But most importantly, I will be more on YouTube. That's all I have for you all today. I thank you all for joining in. And until then, I will see you next time. Bye.